Hello, thank you for joining me. I am Susan from Unity Fitness and Yoga, and welcome to your yoga practice today. Today we'll be working on core strength and cultivating personal power. I suggest having a couple of yoga blocks around and also a yoga blanket or something to cushion your knees. Of course, that's all dependent on your space and your personal needs. But we will start by taking a comfortable seat, please. Just a simple cross-leg posture. Sit up tall, allow the hands to rest on the thighs or in the lap. Let's take a full deep breath in together. And exhale, sigh it out and let that go. Let's do that again, a full deep breath in. Exhale, soft sigh out, let that breath go. Then allow the lips to softly close so we begin to breathe in and out through the nose. And if it's comfortable, close your eyes. Or you could just look down and soften your gaze. We'll take just a moment to tune in. Just tuning into your starting point today. Take a moment to mentally scan the physical body and notice head to toe. Get a sense of being in this body in this moment. And into all of the places that are connected to the mat, to the earth. Maybe also sensing the temperature of the air against your skin and the clothing. And then scanning a little deeper. What else is there? Notice any sensations physically in the body that draw your attention. And then keep dropping in deeper. Notice the state of your emotions and even the thoughts this morning. Not judging anything you discover, but just tuning in so that we know where we're starting from today. Now, please let your awareness drift to your breath. Just watching each complete breath in and each breath out. In breath flowing to the out breath. Out breath flowing back to the in breath. Just one continuous cycle. So we'll be moving and cultivating core strength today in our practice. And there's power from moving from your physical center and cultivating core strength. We can all sense that even while we move through the world. Right? When we have a strong core and we're grounded, there's a sense of physical power there. Off the mat, that deep source of strength allows you to move through the world with more grace, more ease, helps to put you in touch with your personal power, not only physically, but emotionally and mentally. And that's what we'll be working toward today. So perhaps as you set your intention for your practice, that has inspired something for you. And stay tuned into your breath. And let's begin a few rounds of Ujjayi breathing. So if you know Ujjayi, feel free to just start moving into it. Otherwise, with me, take a full breath in through your nose and just a soft sigh out. Notice that gentle constriction in the back of the throat. Now in through the nose again. This time, close the lips and see if you can sense that same breath through the throat. Good, in nose, out through the nose. You might even be able to hear and feel your own throat or your own breath in the throat. It may sound to you like the ocean waves or Darth Vader. And see if you can find that same sense of breathing through the throat on both the inhale and the exhale. So rather than a sniff in through the nostrils, we're drawing that breath deep within through the throat. Ujjayi breath, also called victorious breath, right? There's a sense of power, even in the naming of that breath. So I will encourage you, I will invite you to continue with Ujjayi throughout our practice or as often as you remember. Let's blink the eyes open and let's begin right away with that physical practice. So bring yourself over onto hands and knees, please. Now, I also have a blanket that I'm going to use for a little extra cushion for my practice. You might like that as well. I don't recall if I actually told you that or not. I talked about the blocks. But anyways, come onto all fours, please. We'll spread those fingertips down as you place them on the floor, positioning index fingers so they point forward. Look back at the knees, their hips distance apart. And as you take an inhale, we'll find cow pose. So tailbone tilts up, belly drops. Heel of the hands gently draws back as we open the chest. And as you exhale, tuck the tailbone and round the spine for cat, pushing the floor away. Good. Inhale, arch the spine. Exhale, round, push the floor away. Good. And if you haven't already, curl your toes under here. As you move through cat and cow with the toes curled under, when you press those toes down, it draws a better line of energy right up into your low belly. Good. Take two more, please. Inhaling cow. Exhaling cat. Let's start to keep things up just a little bit. All right, let's take your right arm, extend your right arm forward. You can start with the fingertips on the floor to feel the length. Now watch the spine. We don't want to arch or round the back. We want to keep the low belly lifting so the spine is nice and long. Let's extend the right arm alongside the ear and take your left leg and stretch it back. You can start with the toes on the ground and then lengthen that leg. So right fingertips and left toes are reaching in opposite directions, right? This is more about lengthening than it is lifting, right? All right, let's place the right hand down and the left knee down. Take your left arm and extend it forward and your right leg and extend it back. So opposite arm, opposite leg. Good. Be mindful here of keeping the shoulders drawn away from your ears, right? The whole while we're here. Lengthening left fingertips and right toes in opposite directions. Good. Let's set that down. Now we'll flow with the breath. Inhale, right arm, left leg. Exhale, set it down. Inhale, left arm, right leg. And set it down. And keep flowing with your breath, moving opposite arm and opposite leg. As best as you can, try to minimize the side-to-side movement. So keep yourself as stable as center as you can by tuning in to your center, your navel center. Keep that belly drawing back towards your spine and up towards your ribs. That is the physical center of your body. All right, so you might even imagine as we're moving through here, starting to pick up a little body heat, that you might see yourself moving through your day, right? Arms and legs, like we're always going in lots of different directions, doing lots of different things during the day. Sometimes that can get a little bit chaotic. And you might know from personal experience that when things get chaotic, in order to feel grounded and more in control, we come to our center, right? We have this sense of grounding, of stability. And from there, we can move more clearly. And here we demonstrate that physically by keeping the navel drawn back to the spine to keep our body stable as we move the limbs. All right. The next time you have the right leg lifted, we'll keep it there. Bring your left hand down. Just the right leg is lifted. All right. So right leg is back. Good. Take an inhale here, lengthen into the leg. As you exhale, hug that knee in toward your chest, curl it in. Navel is really squeezing back toward the spine as you lift that knee toward the chest. Good. Inhale, extend. Exhale, in. Good. Extend, lengthen, and exhale, hug it in. Good. Let's take 3. Squeeze it in. 2. In. And 1 last time. And set that knee down. We'll switch to the left leg. So left leg goes back. Remember, low belly's not dropping down. We're going to keep that lifted the whole while. I take 1 inhale here. And then exhale, squeeze the knee in. Inhale, lengthen. Good. Exhale, squeeze it in. And lengthen. 3, 2, and 1. Extend and set it down. Take your hips back to your heels. We'll take just a little pause here in child's pose. Feel free to bring the forehead to the floor. Maybe make a soft fist and roll those wrists out. I might open and close the hands a little bit. Inhale, come up onto all fours again. So we'll be on the wrists on the hands for just a little bit. So just some things that I want to point out real quick. As you place the hands down on the ground, make sure those fingertips are spread wide. We want to use the whole surface of the palm of the hands to support our weight rather than just resting on the heel. If you just rest on the heel, those wrists are going to get pretty sore pretty quickly. So we want to really spread the fingertips out wide, almost a little bit like you're clawing the mat with the fingertips. And then the other thing to note is that be mindful that we don't let the shoulders drift too far back behind the wrists, because that is going to give you all that weight down in the heel of the hand. So if you keep the shoulders right over the base of the hands, the fingers will be really firm here. All right, now the low belly is lifting. Take your right leg and stretch it back. Stamp the toes down on the ground. Good. Press down firmly into the right toes. Right, so you can feel the core kick in, feel that nice long line of energy from the right toes as they're connected to the earth, right up into the low belly. Low belly is lifting. And so it's just like a little half plank. You can even feel maybe that the left knee is getting a little bit lighter. All right, let's bring the right knee back in. So back to all fours. We'll do the same thing on the left side. Stretch it back, stamp the toes on the ground. Watch where your shoulders are. Press those toes down. Feel that connection right up into the core. Navel's drawing back and up. Maybe you sense how the right knee is getting a little bit lighter. Good. Bring the left knee back in. And have a seat on your feet once more. So let's roll those wrists out so you can either be in child's pose or sitting up on the heels like I am. We'll come back and we'll do plank again one more time. And you can do just as we did with this last round, where you take one leg back at a time, or join me, we'll take 2 legs back. All right, but we'll start in all fours. Spread the fingertips wide. Be mindful about how you place yourself down on the ground, using the whole surface of the palm of the hands, right? Pressing down. Take your right leg back, stamp the toes down on the ground. Take the left leg back, stamp the toes on the ground. Stay here and breathe. Now you can always lower one or both knees down to the ground for a kneeling plank. We'll stay here for 5 and 4, 3, 2, and one. Lower the knees down, have a seat back on top of those heels again, and let's empty the wrists, open and close, keep all that blood flowing in there, keep the circulation, and keep stretching it out. All right, next up, we'll do a side plank variation, right? Come and lie over onto your right side. So this variation of side plank will be on the forearm rather than up on the hand. Give those wrists a little bit of a break. So as you position the forearm down on the ground, bring your forearm so it's a little bit of an angle, right? So rather than pointing straight forward, it's maybe 25 degrees, all right? This will allow us to access the muscles in the back of the arm and those lats a little bit more easily. And then be really mindful that we start with the shoulder right over the elbow. And we'll open the shoulder. So we're always rolling the shoulder back. All right. So here's what we'll do for our variation today. So align yourself up. So from the knees to the crown of the head is a long straight line, right? So we don't want the knees forward so your butt's back and we've got to bend at the hips. Keep everything in a nice long straight line and extend the top leg out. So the inner part of the foot is down on the ground. All right, left hand is on your left hip. We're going to tighten those abs. We're using this bottom knee as a kickstand. You're going to press down into that knee and lift the hips up. Good, we'll stay here and breathe. And we'll do 2 rounds on each side. So be mindful of the shoulder. We're not dumping forward. Roll the shoulder back. Keep some space between the shoulders and the neck. We'll stay for 4 and 3. Lift that hip up again. And 2 and 1. Ha. Lower down. Good. Take a rest. You can roll the shoulders. We'll do that one more time. So our class today is a little more hatha style. So we'll just be moving through some postures, not necessarily flowing through. All right. You ready to do that one more time as we work to build our core strength? All right, plant that forearm down on the ground again. Line yourself up, big long line. Top leg is extended. So you can do the same as we did just now, first round, by using the kickstand for the knee. Or if you like, you can extend both legs so that your bottom leg is behind the top one. So if you were to look at your feet, it kind of looks like you're standing on a tightrope. All right, so that's an option as well. You can even stack the feet or stay here with the kickstand. All right, so I'm going to try the staggered stance here. So legs extend, feet are flexed. We're going to lift those hips up, either pressing down into that bottom knee or into the outer edges of the feet. Actually, it's the outer edge of the right foot, the inner line of the left foot. And if you've got 2 legs extended, the left foot is out in front. Let's stay for 4 and 3. Lift those hips up. 2 and 1. Ha. Lower down. Let's go over to the other side. So I'm just going to flip around and go the other way. Positioning now, left forearm at just a slight angle. Legs extend long. First round, we're bending the bottom knee. So we've got a little kickstand. All right, lift those hips up. Abs are engaged and tight. Navel is drawing back to the spine. You roll that left shoulder back, firmly pressing forearm down to keep that lift in the left side waist. We'll stay for 4 and 3, 2 and 1 and rest. Take a couple of breaths here. All right. You ready to drop back into that? All right, one more time. Side plank on the left side. Remember, there's options here. Stay with the kickstand of the bottom knee, extend the 2 legs, either staggering them or stack them on top of one another. Whenever you're ready, lift those hips up. We'll stay for 4. You got it. 3. Hips are lifting. 2 and one. Lower all the way down. So next up, we'll move into, we're going to stay on the forearms, but we'll flip over into a forearm plank, otherwise known as a dolphin plank. Now, there are options with the forearms. So I'll show you before we come down. Option one, you could have the forearms parallel with the palms face down and the hands about shoulders distance apart. But I think for today, what I'll suggest is interlace your hands and form like a little triangle. So we'll keep the elbows underneath the shoulders. Now, here's a little trick I like to do is instead of crossing those pinky fingers, tuck them inside one another. It gives you a flatter base to press the forearms into the ground. All right. So we'll go from dolphin plank, which is a forearm plank, up into dolphin. All right. We'll do it a couple of times. So on your forearms, propped up, elbows right underneath the shoulders. A quick way to check that is take hands and wrap them around those opposite elbows and then release, interlace the fingers, untuck the little pinkies, curl your toes under, engage the abdominals before we lift. So draw the navel back to the spine, up to the ribs, and then pop the hips up. Now, you could also, one or both knees could stay down on the ground. You do you, right? This is your practice. So the low belly is lifting. Getting those hips, they're about shoulder height. Let's stay for 1, 2, 3, 4. Now on 5, we're going to lift the hips up, walk the feet in a bit, and come into dolphin. It's like downward facing dog, but we're on forearms. So press the shoulders back, hips are high, heels are lengthening. Good. Let's come back into dolphin plank. Walk the feet back slightly, lower the hips down. Watch those shoulders. Shoulders are away from the ears, and you're lengthening the heart one direction and the tailbone the other. Let's stay for 3, 2, and 1. Back up to dolphin again. So the hips go up. Walk your feet in a bit. Press the shoulders back. Beautiful. Lower the knees down and return to child's pose. Yeah, forehead can come to the floor, hands sweep back by the feet. Just pause. Notice the breath. Cultivating some heat, some energy today. All right. Let's come on up to stand. Let's do a couple of fun standing postures. All right. So bring yourself on up. First thing we'll do is chair and revolved chair. All right. So start by finding mountain pose with feet about hips distance apart, maybe just slightly narrower, or you do you with the feet, okay? I like to have heels right underneath my knees. And we'll just start by standing up tall, pressing the feet down. Remember, in mountain pose, it's more than just simply standing. We're creating a really sense of grounded presence, right? Mountain, it's like strong, it's heavy, it's stable, it's rock, it's earth. So we're going to press the feet down. As you do that, feel that connection up into the legs and right up into the low belly. And let's bring hands to Anjali Mudra, prayer hands in front of the heart. Press the palms together and then sink back into chair pose. Right? So I'm just going to turn sideways for a moment. You stay here. Right? As I go into chair, my butt's going back, but I'm not drifting too far forward on the knees. Like you can notice what happens to my posture, right? I go from back here. If the knees come forward, it's like my butt's getting tucked under. And I want to be using all of these big muscles here. So butt goes back as we sit into chair. Keep the weight back into your heels. Feel free to keep the hands here at heart center. You can bring them to the hips or extend your arms up, yogi's choice. And let's make this fierce pose. So we're going to really lift the low belly. Navel is drawing back to the spine, up to the ribs. That'll provide a little more length in the low back here. Yeah, on your next inhale, push into the feet and bring yourself all the way up. Shake those legs out. We'll do chair pose, just chair, Utkatasana, one more time. And then we're going to change it up a little bit. All right, so reset your feet, press down into the feet. All right, the butt goes back first, and then bend the knees secondary. Good, lift that low belly. And let's stay here for 5 breaths, please. Remember, arms can go wherever they work for you. 3 more breaths. One more. Inhale, press into the feet to stand on up. Shake the legs. All right, next up we'll do a revolved chair, Parivrtta Utkatasana. It's kind of a fun one to say. And for chair pose, I find for me, it works a little better to have the feet closer together. But again, you do you. Feet a little bit wider apart, gives you more stability, narrower, a little more challenge, I guess. But for revolved chair, I like to keep the feet together. All right. Find your mountain though. Press the feet down, firm into the legs. All right, sit back into your chair. Remember, we're going back so more than we are going down. We are still going down, but the back motion comes first, right? So we're squeezing the feet together. You can even squeeze the knees together, the inner thighs together. Lift that low belly. All right, 2 variations of revolved chair. So we could do an open arm revolved chair, crossing the left arm over. So I've got back of the left hand on the outside of the right thigh, and then right arm up. Right, so look down at the knees. If your knees are parallel, usually the hips are too. Good, come back to center. Press down, come all the way up. So we'll do that on the other side, and then I'll show you another variation. All right, so sink down into your chair. And then open arm revolved chair. Right arm crosses over, left arm reaches up. So I'm using the back of the hand as a little bit of leverage to get a clearer twist here. Good. Come back to center, press down, and come all the way up. Shake the legs. So as we move into round 2, feel free to come right back here to the open arm chair and stay a little higher. Or you can follow along with me, and it's a little bit of a deeper variation, all right? So we start the same though, feet close, or again, you do the feet however they work the best for you. I like them together, so I'm gonna squeeze everything in, including the knees, the thighs, sink down into my chair. Again, I'll turn sideways so we get a little better angle here of the posture. So I got to sink a little bit lower for this variation. And now I'll take the left elbow and cross it all the way over to the outside of the knee, pressing the palms together and open. Again, using traction as I press the back of the elbow into the outside of the knee. Now remember, you could be in variation 1 with the arms open. Spine is long. Let's inhale, come to center, press down and bring yourself up. Yeah, you did great. Whatever variation you chose, that was great. Be really mindful of not rounding the back. So if you choose that lower variation, make sure that we've got this length and extension in the spine. All right, second side, and then we'll move on. All right, chair pose. A little bit lower if you're doing elbow to knee. All right, right elbow crosses over, press the palms together and open, or you're in the open arm variation a little higher. Good, spine is long, no matter what you choose. Navel is drawing back to the spine, supporting the low back. One more breath. And back to center, press down and lift up. Whew. Great job, everyone. All right, shake everything out. Ooh, let's take a wide stance on your mat now. So legs out nice and wide. We'll do a triangle variation and then a half moon pose. So wide legs, start with your feet parallel. And we'll do this to the right side first, all right? So with the legs out wide, pick up your left heel and turn it back, and then turn your right toes to the right. Now, with Trikonasana triangle pose, we want that front hip to dip down, but we'll keep both sides of the waist nice and long. So this is going to work our obliques, the sides of the waist, a little bit, a lot. Who am I kidding? In triangle pose, though, the foundation here, press down more through big toe mound of the front foot. So I find that the easiest way to find that connection for me is to lift the toes, right? Just to set up for the pose. Lift your front toes so you can really feel that big toe mound. All right, now press the toes back down. Notice I said press, not set. You're pressing the toes down so you keep that connection. Big toe mound of the front foot and pinky toe of the back foot. All right, let's take hands to the hips, drop that right hip down. Now, extend the right arm alongside parallel to the floor. Good, then just pause here for a moment. We'll take traditional Trikonasana first. So right fingertips down, left arm can be at the hip or up overhead. All right, now grab onto those abs. Navel is gonna drop back to the spine, up to the ribs. All right, you ready for the big challenge here? Take that right arm and extend it out. Can you bring it up alongside the ear or parallel to the floor? Now you could take both arms and reach them the same direction. You could take the top arm and bring it to the hip. Let's stay for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Look down to the right foot, bend that knee just a smidge and bring yourself up. Turn your feet back to parallel. That was fun, right? I know you can feel that in the side waist. So we go back to parallel and we'll do the other side. So the right heel turns back, left toes turn to the left. All right, start with the hands on the hips, find that connection. So big toe mound of the front foot, pinky toe mound of the back foot. Left hip drops down as we move into our Trikonasana pose. Start with the left fingertips down toward the floor. So just at the shin and left arm up. Good, keep this left side of the waist really nice and long, like the left side waist is getting longer and the right one's just cinching up ever so slightly. All right, here comes that challenge. Left arm up alongside the ear. Remember, right hand can be on the hip. You can take it back up or take them both up alongside the ears. We'll stay for 5. Keep breathing. 4, keep lifting that low belly. 3, 2, and 1. Look down to the left foot, bend that left knee a bit as you bring yourself all the way up. Turn your feet to parallel. Whew. Shake those legs out. All right. Come to the top of your mat. We'll take a high lunge now. Again, something that's going to get us that connection right up into the core. We'll do a high lunge with the right leg forward first, okay? So keep your right leg forward, step the left leg back. Keep some space between the feet left to right, right? So by that, I mean, we don't want to take the toes right behind, then it's like we're doing this on a tightrope. You want to have a little bit of distance between the feet so our hips can stay neutral. That keeps our core, or our center of balance, I should say, right where it should be. All right, so front knee bends until it's about over the heel, and the back leg stretches back. Heel is lifted, right? We lift the low belly to take any of the arching out of the low back. Good, the back leg is really nice and strong, right? So this is all power in the legs. Legs are really strong and engaged here. No, I'm so lucky I have this wall right here for balance. Let's inhale and stretch the 2 arms up overhead. Can you sink a little deeper? Let's stay for 4, 3, 2, And 1, lower the arms, step it forward. Left foot forward, right leg back. And set yourself up. Left knee bends, it's just about over the ankle, pressing back into your right heel, lifting the low belly, take the arching out of the low back, so we find some length there. And as you're ready, we sweep the 2 arms up overhead. Arms go up, spine goes up, but keep those shoulders drawing down as the heart is open here. And we'll stay 4, 3, 2, and 1. Arms lower down and step forward. Shake the legs a little. If you have a block, go ahead and grab your block, a block for this next one. We'll take a variation of half moon, another standing balance posture. And for half moon, let's start like we're setting up for our lunge, okay? So right foot will stay forward. Take your left leg and step it back. That'll be our little kickstand, like our sense of balance as we set up for this, all right? Then you bend the front knee so that you can fold over and place your hands down on the block. So I like to keep the block in front of that right foot and then out to the right just a smidge, right? So it's not directly in front of the foot, it's off to the right just slightly. Now, as you're ready, you're going to start to shift your weight all into the right foot so the left foot gets lighter. And then you can also lift the left foot up off of the ground. Once the foot comes up, you'll flex the foot so the toes point down, right, to begin with. Then we'll open the left hip so your toes point out to the left. Now that leg is lifted off the ground, but keep it engaged and tighten like all the muscles in that leg as if it's still standing on the ground. And then if you like, take the left hand off the block and bring your left hand to your heart. Open up to your left and breathe. Good. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Left foot next to the right and come all the way down. Forward bend. Inhale all the way up. Fun, huh? Let's try that on the other side. All right, so move the block. So it's in front. Now, in replacement of a block, like maybe you don't have a block handy, you could use the seat of a chair, the couch, a counter, a table, anything that might give you a little extra height there, or you could certainly have hands on the ground. All right, so the right leg will go back, bend the front knee, bring the hands down to that block, find your balance. All right, you're going to power that weight into the left leg as the right leg lifts. Once the right leg lifts, we flex the foot and engage the muscles in the leg like you're pressing the foot into the wall back behind you. All right, now open the right hip so the toes point out to the right. Left hand will stay on the block, and just maybe you bring the right hand to your heart. 3, 2, and 1. Right leg lowers down, forward bend all the way down. Good. Inhale to a half lift. Exhale, forward bend. And then inhale, bring yourself all the way up slowly. Good. All right, set the block out of the way if you used it. We're done with that. And bring yourself down onto your mat on your belly. All the way down on your belly. So we've done postures that work the front of the body, the sides of the body. Do a little bit for the back side now. And this is a variation of locust pose, Shalambhasana. And we'll call these locust jumping jacks, okay? I gotta move my stuff out of the way. So I got a little space to move here. All right, so you'll lie down on the ground, forehead to the floor, Legs extend back behind you. And you can bring hands to begin with right here, palms facing down, underneath the shoulders, next to the ribs. Beautiful. All right, let's inhale as we engage the abdominals, lift the legs off of the floor. So extend those legs. Now take your arms and extend them overhead. Lift your gaze, look slightly forward. Good. On an inhale, arms lift, arms reach forward and open the legs wide. All right. Exhale, legs squeeze together and the elbows draw back. We inhale. So this is like an inverted Y, right? Arms are extended, legs are wide. And then we go to a W. The legs come together, the elbows draw back towards your ribs. We inhale to Y, we exhale to W. Y, W. Let's do 4, 3, 2, and 1. And all the way down. Press yourself up off of the floor. That was a good one. Take a seat. What is a core practice without doing a little bit of Navasana or boat pose, right? So take a seat, sit up tall, feet to the floor, spine is long, low belly is lifting. Start with those fingertips right behind the knees, shoulders away from your ears, float yourself back. Right, so you float yourself back a little bit, maybe those toes even get a little bit lighter. So you can stay right here, toes on the ground, fingers behind the knees. Or you might lift the feet so the shins are about parallel to the ground. Keep those feet active. So you're going to point the toes, flex, or do that little combination of a floint. Good. As you're here, stay here, or maybe you release the hands. We'll stay for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Soles of the feet come together as you lengthen forward into bound angle pose. Good. Inhale back up. Let's do boat pose, Navasana, one more time. Feet to the floor, shoulders back. Lift the low belly. Start with those fingertips behind the knees, float yourself back. Decide where you go this round, right? Try any or all, all of the variations. Try the one that works for you. Maybe you're lifting the feet so the shins are parallel. Maybe you're lifting the arms as well. Let's stay for 4, 3, keep lifting the low belly. 2, and 1. Lower down, soles of the feet together. Lengthen yourself forward one more time. Inhale, bring yourself all the way up. And then roll yourself down onto your back. As you come lying down on your back, we'll start with the 2 feet on the floor, and the knees bent. Position your feet so that it feels as though you're in your standing mountain pose. So heels are underneath your knees and they're about hips distance apart. Good. Pick up your right foot, cross right ankle over the left knee. We'll keep the foot flexed so this knee stays really active. Let that knee drop open, arms alongside the body. We're going to roll those shoulders back so the backs of the arms are pressing firmly down. Now engage the abdominals. The low belly draws back to the spine, up to the ribs. Press into the left foot and lift the hips up. So it's a 1-leg bridge with a pigeon modification. All right, lower the hips back down. We'll do 4 more of those. Press up and down. 3, 2, and 1. Lower down. Change the cross. Right foot comes down. Left will cross over. Arms alongside. Reset those shoulders. Press down. So we've got 5 of these lifts. We lift 5. Keep the low belly lifting up. All right, so we're engaging the abdominals. 3, 2, and 1. Lower down and uncross. One final stretch here. Extend the legs long, reach the arms overhead. Oh, that feels so great. And let the arms come down by your sides. Let your feet flop open as we settle into our Shavasana. Or should I say, as we melt into our Shavasana and melt into our mat. Take a full deep breath in. And as you exhale, sigh it out. Good. Allow the lips to softly close. Eyes closed if they're not already. Just a few moments to tune in here. Tune in and notice what you notice. Can you sense and feel the energy that you've cultivated pulsing through your veins? Sensing it on all levels. Do you feel it? The possibility. And that's the name of the poem that I'm going to share in our Shavasana today. The possibility. Do you feel the possibility? Awakened energy is poised to flow. Freedom beckons from every direction. This is a moment to throw caution to the wind and dive right in, or fly high above the rocky terrain of doubt and fear. You've lived your life anticipating this opportunity. Rejoice, for it is here. Let's take a deeper breath in here. Exhale completely. Another deep breath in as you call the energy back to the body. Maybe bringing with it a wiggle of fingers and toes, or hugging the knees into the chest as you rock side to side a couple of times. Eventually, you'll make your way up to a seated, upright position, maybe even doing so with eyes still closed. Just staying tuned in. Let's join the hands in Anjali Mudra, palm against palm, as you bow chin to your chest. Just closing with a moment of gratitude. Gratitude to yourself for taking this really valuable time for you today. And as always, I thank you so much for sharing your practice today. Namaste.